The Realm of the Mist show that you are currently tuned into will begin in about 5 minutes. Until then, enjoy this wonderful tune.
Why does a good man have to die? Another piece of shit to be born. Reasons unheard of tearing my flesh. My heart is ripped, my soul is torn.
You are listening to War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast presented by Realm of the Mist Entertainment with your host, John Tolley.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast. We are coming to you tonight, as always, from deep within the Outer Rim, far beyond the watchful eyes of the Galactic Empire. My name is John Mark Tully. Joining me today, as always, from the city of brotherly love, it is Mr. Christopher Stolley. Chris, how you doing today, man?
Oh, I just came out of the bathroom, and I promise it was one single reactor only.
And we have a special guest making his Realm of the Mist debut. It is Mr. Keith Zephyr. Did I get that right?
Yeah, it's pronounced Zephyr. It's kind of my gamer tag / nickname that I use and all kind of stuff I do. Oh. So I usually go by Zephyr or just Zeph.
When you said it's pronounced, I thought for a second you were going to say it's pronounced Keith.
Oh, no.
That's such a Star Wars name. That's his name from now on. You're Keith.
Oh, no. Don't give me another nickname.
Too late.
Nah, I got a little Star Wars thing before we get started. I got a little Star Wars thing. The other day I went upstairs and Jen's mom usually likes to lay out on the couch when she's not feeling well. And I went up there, and in her spot, perfectly laid out where she normally lays, was her robe. She wasn't there, but it was perfectly laid out like she was laying there, and then just disappeared. And I turned around to Jen. I said, "Oh my God, Mom's a Jedi," because she just became one with the Force and left her robe behind.
Oh shit, I just realized that, because they totally had Luke do that fucking robe drop in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Which is totally referencing the fucking Obi-Wan bullshit that he pulled in A New Hope.
Yeah.
Ooh, the way he said that, I'm starting to wonder, Last Jedi hater?
No, not really. Just, I feel that there's a lot more stories that they could have done that would have been better. Like, I was a big fan of the Young Jedi Knights series, and so that's not canon in the movies kind of makes my heart sad a little bit.
I can kind of get that, but like in conversations we've had previous, you weren't here for. I've stated before when Disney bought Lucasfilm and decided that all the extended universe stuff was no longer canon, I was excited, not because I didn't like that. I liked the fact that the old stuff was gone. I liked the old stuff. I was excited that what I was going to get is something I don't know.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Expecting new stuff is always fun.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that I dislike the new trilogies, but there are other things in the Star Wars canon that I like a lot better.
Fair enough.
The Darth Vader comics. That was worth the $4.5 billion of Lucas selling it. The Darth Vader comic runs have been phenomenal.
I actually need to find those.
Oh,
apparently
yes, you do.
there's some comic Star Wars comic run out there that involves a bunch of stormtroopers, and at least one of them wields a lightsaber. He's not force sensitive. He just carries it because he can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's in the main Star Wars run. It's in the main Star Wars run, and he actually goes toe to toe with Luke. It's pretty, not to spoil anything, but it's pretty badass.
Yeah.
I mean, deciding to just carry a lightsaber because is pretty badass to begin with, especially when you live in a galaxy with space wizards.
You got to remember, at that time, everybody figured that the Jedi were extinct. Nobody knew at the time really knew about Obi-Wan. Nobody knew about Yoda. All they knew was Order 66 purged the Jedi and the Empire rose. So, him walking around with an ancient Jedi's lightsaber, not unheard of.
Yeah.
Fair point.
Yeah. Well, we're going to start out like we usually do with a little bit of Star Wars news, and really the big thing again is that we are just days away from Star Wars Celebration.
Yay!
I know this is like, I don't know. I'd say when Episode 9 comes out in December, that's going to be like Christmas for Star Wars. This is like, ironically, Easter for Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
And I've been hearing a lot of people have kind of speculated, and I kind of agree that probably the 12th, which is when the Episode 9 panel happens, is when we will get the trailer. And do you guys kind of agree with that? That seems like the most logical time to bring out the Episode 9 trailer and get the Episode 9, the actual name will be during that panel, during the Episode 9 panel.
Let's see, we're expected to get it in December. So usually about 6 months back. They drop it about 6 months before.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say is the name. We'll get the name of Episode 9, absolutely. And I think we'll get a teaser, but we'll get something like Rogue One's teaser. If you remember its original teaser was like 10 seconds of nothing. But it was just enough to hype you. I think that's what we're going to get. If you're going to really event this, I know it's not Star Wars, but it's all Disney under one umbrella. If you really want to hype this, you throw that shit, a full trailer right in the front of Endgame.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
I can see that. That makes a whole ton of sense.
So
yeah,
that's my personal opinion. I think we'll get a teaser, but I don't think we'll get a full-on trailer because it's just too soon.
I kind of agree. And again, though, there's things that have come out that say this is a teaser, and they're like a minute long. So how long of a teaser do we get? Do we get one of those like full minute, basically a trailer? They just call it a teaser, or do we get just like you said, just a little 10-second?
Well, they might give us a 10 to 30 second teaser trailer, like the official teaser trailer, the first look, followed by a behind the scenes featurette, non-spoiler. Behind the scenes featurette.
Yeah.
It's not like The Force Awakens, which was like the revitalization of the series, where we got that teaser trailer, which was the there's been an awakening. Can you feel it? And then the fanfare, and that was it.
You know, thinking about it, how they'll
trailer.
actually do it, or at least how I think they'll actually do it, is they'll give you the teaser trailer, but instead of a featurette, what they'll actually do is they'll take a look back at the saga, the Skywalker saga. They'll have like this little 25-minute mini movie of, you know, episode 1 through episode 8, and then all of a sudden it'll just go dark, and the logo will pop up, and there's the teaser trailer for episode 9.
But hey, that's just a theory.
Just a theory.
Star Wars theory.
Yeah.
It's just a theory. Don't shoot me if it doesn't happen.
Put your blasters away.
Wait,
unless you're
listening?
stormtroopers, you won't hit me. You'll hit John.
Is Disney listening? Wait, do they have time to put this together?
Hey, Bob Iger's sitting there like, wait a minute. Hey, Kathleen, I just heard this little dinky podcast. You need to do this.
The other thing I heard kind of a rumor that as of right now this could have changed, you know, recently, but that the only people who really know the name right now are J.J. Abrams and probably Kathleen Kennedy.
I'll slightly agree. I'll say Bob Iger knows.
Yeah.
I feel like the way the industry works, that's not super likely. But then again, we have seen with franchises like Avengers that directors and producers are getting a lot more tight-lipped about details because of actors like cough Tom Holland, who can't keep his mouth shut.
Kind of off topic. Did anybody catch the Jimmy the Jimmy Fallon, the Late Show with Jimmy Fallon?
Where he hooked Mark Ruffalo up to the lie detector?
No, the recent one a couple days ago. He had Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones, and they played an April Fool's joke on everybody, where everybody thought that Maisie slipped out that her character dies in the second episode of season 8.
Oh. Oh. This is kind of off subject,
have they caught up to the books yet?
They're beyond the books.
Oh, yeah. They're beyond the books? Okay.
They're beyond the book. The last season and this season, it's not matching up to any book because there's no book.
Oh.
I mean, it had to happen eventually.
Yeah.
This kind of off subject too, but that just reminded me. My wife has there's a friend of ours, mutual friend of ours, and I guess he used to work at a local video store. And he used to joke around with people and say, like, people would come in and it's like, is this a really good movie? He's like, yeah, but they die at the end. And that was like a running gag. Until he said it with one movie, and the guy working with him said, Jerry, they really do die at the end.
Rogue One, Titanic. I used to do that. I was a gas station attendant, late night gas station attendant when the Titanic first came out, and people would come on a Friday night. They were going to go see the movie, you know, getting gas, whatever, cigarettes, and I'd be asking what they're up to, and they're, we're going to see a movie. Oh, what movie? Oh, Titanic. And you could tell the husband was not interested. It was the wife or the girlfriend making them, right? So I just turned around like, I hate to spoil it for you, but, you know, the boat sinks and everybody dies.
Historically, you're not wrong.
Yeah. Spoiler.
Oh, you fucking twat.
Or yeah, they're watching a movie like, I don't know, that Pearl Harbor. Like, okay, the Japanese are bombed the city.
Right.
Yeah, like... Anyway,
Pearl Harbor. Yeah, the Japanese attack us. But okay, anyway, back to Star Wars. This is a Star Wars show.
There a bit.
Welcome to Realm of the Mist podcast.
Any Realm of the Mist podcast.
Any
podcast gets sidetracked.
Oh, but we made a career out of it.
Yes.
Half of our shows are just a sidetrack. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, John. Isn't that how After Hours was born?
Pretty yeah, kinda.
full disclosure, I was actually watching one of the After Hours videos before we got on to do this.
Oh, please
Because
tell
I was
me.
kind of trolling around the YouTube channel.
Oh, please tell me it was fuck the FCC.
No, I watched number 1.
Oh, you need
So
to...
I got a little bit of number 1.
I'm not going to lie. Skip ahead a little bit, go to fuck the FCC. Trust me, you'll love it.
Well, then, on that note, we're going to continue on with our look into the women of Star Wars this week, continuing on with the crew of the Ghost with Sabine Wren. So I'll first get your guys'. I know you said, Keith, that you haven't really watched a lot of Rebels, so
I'm not super familiar with Rebels. I know a little bit about Sabine.
Mm-hmm.
What I do know is that she's either Mandalorian or of Mandalorian descent.
Yeah.
And she's a bit of a badass. But
yes to both of those. She is Mandalorian. And she definitely is a badass. Both of those are true. Although one thing I always kind of appreciated about her is they really showed her as being, in many ways, she was very, I don't know what the word is. She was very much a typical teenager in a lot of ways.
I think that was something that actually bothered me about her. Like, out
Really?
of all the characters we've discussed in the Women of Star Wars, I think so far Sabine's one of my least favorite because of the fact that she's way too modern day punk rock girl.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a lot less Star Wars, as we said, Mandalorian descent. Which to me, the Mandalorian is the best way I can describe a Mandalorian culture. Is like Roman Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like the exact opposite of anybody from Rome. You know?
Yeah. But then again, I mean, if you look at, what do most teenagers try to do? They try to rebel against a lot of times what their society says is this is what you should be. And if you look at who Sabine is, she does that. She rebels against what her society says she should be.
So you're saying she's a rebel? But
the puns are here. He fits in.
And I mean, you can also look at her. I think this is the first time that you can see a direct. You see two female characters that are side by side that you could compare, and you can see how each one has affected the other, and how her relationship with Hera, really influenced her, and even her relationship with other females, because you see her with other females and I'm just rambling now, so...
Yes, you are. I'll help you out here. I'll pull you out of that little pit of despair.
Yes.
Falcor! So anyway, yes, another reference.
I believe Artax is the
Artax,
thank
you.
Falcor is the luck dragon.
We all
Big
need
fluffy
a
luck dragon.
We need a big fluffy luck dragon. No, you're absolutely right. I'm glad you caught that. You passed the test. No, that much I can actually agree with you. Is that it was the first time we got more than one female at one time on screen in Star Wars, which allowed us to compare personalities and also see interactions between the two. And as I stated, I may not have been a fan of hers in the beginning. I kind of had a Ahsoka type relationship with her, where in the beginning of Rebels, I really didn't care for Sabine. Sabine felt to me as, this is Disneyifying Star Wars.
Yeah.
But especially when you got into the arc, spoilers for those who don't know, when you got into the arc of the Black Saber.
Oh, yes.
Is really
I heard about that arc. I really kind of want to go back and watch Rebels because of that arc.
It's really where she starts coming into her own as a character, to me. where I actually started paying more attention to her as an individual character and not just one of those background characters of Rebels.
Mm-hmm. I kind of agree. You know, she definitely, that was the one where she became more than just, oh, she's the one that spray paints everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
I like to spray paint colorful colors, and I like to blow shit up. That was her character.
Yeah. And when you see, you know,
I mean,
her...
to be fair, sometimes for a character that's good enough.
True.
Yeah. But
can't remember what the hell his name was from Atlantis: The Lost Empire. His entire character was blowing shit up. And he was great.
Okay, I stand corrected.
But and one thing I really liked in that arc was, like, you got to see throughout, like we talked about it on our last episode, with the relationship between Hera and Sabine, with her learning to trust her and kind of that sister. And one thing I liked about the arc with the Darksaber arc and the Sabine arc was seeing that relationship grow between Sabine and my mind just went blank.
Give you a minute. Long train, short track.
I know. Not Ezra.
One of the main characters.
Yes. And I'm kicking myself because I am horrible and I cannot remember his names, and I just need to. Ladies and gentlemen, I am quitting Star Wars right now because I cannot remember a character's name.
Turn in your fan card.
Hang on. I want to make a guess here. We're going to see if my encyclopedic random weird knowledge I hold on to works. Is it Ezra?
It is not Ezra.
Damn it.
Kanan,
yes.
There you go.
Wow.
That was my next guess.
Wow. Yes. Okay. Her relationship with Kanan, and seeing that kind of go from this very almost like he was almost just there. Like a lot of times it was like when it came to the relationship between Kanan and Sabine, Kanan was just there. You know, Kanan spent most of his time with Ezra. And
considering that he was training Ezra, right, I guess that kind of makes sense.
Like you do with your Padawan.
Yeah. And, you know, she became kind of a side character, so to see him, that relationship kind of build, and that relationship kind of, that bond kind of be there, you know, that, you know, you're not just, you know, the girl who happens to be on the ship. You're part of this crew. You're part of this family. And I care about you just as much as anyone else. And I want to see you succeed just as much as I want to see anyone else succeed in this. And I'm going to help train you to make sure that you do succeed.
Quick, John, a chance for you to regain your geek card. What is Kanan Jarrus's real name?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I lost it.
Oh, no.
Sean Bean.
There you go, Sean Bean. That's why he died at the end. Spoilers? No. No, Caleb Dune.
Oh, yes, Doom. Oh, I have to rewatch Rebels. It's been a while.
I tried.
Oh.
Scale of 1 to 10, how hot is Princess Leia in a fucking slave outfit?
Is 11 an option?
That's an option.
15?
Okay, you get your card back.
That seems like a low bar to clear.
Who's Leia?
I said Leia.
I know, I'm just...
But now you're going to have me sitting here thinking about a Leia character. Who do I know that was a Leia?
I don't know.
Oh, well. Anyway, back to the show.
Yes, back to the show. I can tell. It's okay. I really don't have a lot this week. I'm tired. I'm sleepy. So anyway,
as far as female characters in the Star Wars universe goes, Sabine doesn't really have a whole ton of source material to pull from just yet, because Rebels is still relatively new.
Yeah.
And she was a secondary character.
Yeah, she was a secondary character. Although I do have to admit, one thing that Rebels did do was they did at some point make time to give individual stories for all of the characters.
Well, of course, yeah. They gave you time to care. Yeah.
Yeah, and they gave you time to care and understand who these characters were, and not just focus on, the two quote-unquote main characters being Kanan and Ezra. They kind of, they did, they even did story arcs for Chopper.
Oh, wait till we showcase Chopper.
Oh, my favorite little murder droid.
I'm telling you, I still want to fight. I want a tag team match of Chopper and HK from Knights of the Old Republic versus Triple Zero and BT from the Darth Vader comics.
Yes. But I mean, really, when you're talking about Sabine, the two arcs that really come to mind is the one with her quote-unquote partner when she was a bounty hunter, and the Darksaber arc.
Well, I think again, the main thing that turned me around on her was the Darksaber arc, and it wasn't just because of the Darksaber itself, but also like the dynamic interaction between her and her mother.
Mm-hmm. And her father.
And her father. And
seeing how...
I forget if it was a cousin or brother as well.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't remember if he was a cousin or brother, but that interaction as well, where he was kind of the you left us type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And seeing how she, how her...
Classic story arc.
Yeah. And seeing how her character developed as being kind of a mix of both of them. She got the artistic side from her dad, but she got that kind of fighting spirit from her mom, and seeing that dynamic. And although I personally think that now looking back, I kind of see why they did that, but I thought for sure she would be the first one to die.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised she didn't die.
I thought the story they would do is she would die and she would be used as the rallying call for the Mandalorians to fight against the Imperial rule.
That would have made sense. I agree with you.
She would have been like the martyr, and she would have been like the one that was on the posters and on the things of, she died for Mandalore.
Well, I mean, let's be fair. I didn't expect the characters from Rebels to wind up being, Rogue One all over again. But yeah. I was really shocked at how little of the characters actually did die.
Kanan.
Yeah.
Kanan was the only one.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Everybody else survived. Well, yeah. It's still in question with Ezra.
I think it's pretty. To me, it's pretty. I'm pretty sure Ezra is out there alive. I think hasn't Filoni pretty much already said that Ezra is somewhere out there.
Well, I'm talking about in the point of story. Like what? Yeah. When he left at the end of Rebels, he was alive. Is he still alive during this new sequel trilogy? I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a possibility, but the chances of them bringing him from animation over to live action is slim to none.
I'm telling you, they need to bring Ahsoka, and this would bring Ezra, especially in this movie. They need to bring Grand Admiral Thrawn to live action. It just needs to happen. It has to happen. But if you have,
let's talk a little bit.
If you have Thrawn show up, Ezra's going to show up because they went to the same place.
Yeah.
And the only way Ezra wouldn't show up is because Thrawn killed him.
That would be a pretty interesting twist for episode 9.
And I've said it before. And again, we're going off on a little bit of a tangent. I think a really good scene would be that if you have this big battle where the remnants of what's now the Reborn Rebellion and the Resistance is fighting against, the First Order and the Star Destroyer, and all of a sudden you see these old-style Imperial-class Star Destroyers just come out of nowhere, and they turn around and they start attacking the First Order. Like they're looking for some sort of secret help. Like that's the whole story. Is they're looking for somebody to help them, and it turns out that it's the Empire that comes to the aid of the Resistance.
The remnants of the Empire, kind of like the Yuzan Vog story.
Yeah, that they're the ones that kind of come into and it's Thrawn at the helm with Ezra by his side.
See, I still think the puppet master behind I know that there's rumors in Episode 9 that the Emperor's going to return, like Palpatine, or he's been returned, and he's the reason for the First Order, the rise of the First Order and Snoke. I really want to believe it's Thrawn. I want to believe Thrawn's the puppet master that put all this in motion.
Ooh, and that would be very much a Thrawn thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
That would be very much a Thrawn thing to do. Oh.
From what I've seen of him, he's definitely that kind of calculating.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Well, the one thing, since you're more of a Legends EU aficionado to the modern canon, the one thing that Rebels did correctly is when they brought Thrawn over, even though he's not in the same timeline as he was in the extended universe, the character is 120,000% on point.
Oh,
well, that's because they brought in.
When I said from what I've seen of him, I was talking from what I've seen of him in Rebels.
Right.
Yeah.
Like his character
part of
was
that's
very
because,
on point from his EU canon counterpart.
Well, part of that is because they brought in Timothy Zahn to make sure that they got the character. I mean, when you bring in the guy who created the character and have him say, okay, we want to make sure this character is right. I mean, you're going to get it,
Thrawn is absolutely... Oh, yeah, Thrawn is absolutely perfect in Rebels. And, of course, if you read the new canon books on Thrawn and Thrawn Alliances, oh, my God. Like, of course, it's Timothy Zahn writing these new books, but it's still just, oh my God, this is Thrawn.
Timothy Zahn is probably the best thing that happened to the extended universe.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're going to take a little bit of a break for a pause for the cause, whatever else you want to call it, and we will be back and continue our discussion on Sabine Wren.
Right after this.
Why didn't the Three Little Pigs go in for some kind of flat share scheme?
Does Jesus get to choose which wine he turns it into?
Why don't Sims have the upper body strength to climb out of a swimming pool?
And does everybody really want to be a cat?
I'm Will Baker.
And I'm Alex Prescott.
And if you're the type of person that overthinks these deep philosophical questions, then Think to the Brink is the podcast for you.
From Disney characters to song lyrics, debates to social etiquette, tune in every week for your dose of paralysis by analysis.
All topic suggestions are welcome. If you can think it, we can overthink it. Think to the Brink. Available on all podcast platforms.
Hey everyone, this is John Tolley, inviting you to check out War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast. Each week, me and my co-host Christopher Stolley discuss the news and theories surrounding one of the largest franchises in the world. So join us every Wednesday at 8 Eastern as we travel to the galaxy far, far away, right here on Anchor FM and wherever fine podcasts are heard.
You know, when you need CBD, vape juice, or a new mod, go to Vape 10859 Boston Avenue, Philadelphia, PA 19116. They are formerly known as East Coast Vapor. They have all your needs, all the equipment, all the juice. And hey, while you're there, sit down, enjoy a beer, your own, and just hang out with a bunch of cool people. Guys, if you really need your next vape machine, or maybe you just want to try a made juice, make sure you hit up Vape Scorpion. That's 1085 Boston Avenue, Philadelphia, PA 19116. Or give a call to 215-464-8273. Oh yeah, and make sure you let them know that Realm of the Mist Entertainment sent you.
He said, but she said, how dare you say that? That's offensive. Well, someone's gotta say it. It had to be said with Venus. Catch the live show Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Check out the recordings at any time. Guest shows weekly. Listener, beware. Mature content, sexual content, trigger warning. Do you dare say it?
Hi, my name's Chris, and I'm here to talk about Realm of the Mist podcast. In this podcast, we talk about all the great entertainment things from movies, music, books, comic books, and many, many other forms of entertainment, as well as politics, current events, and just general humor and having a good time. If you're looking for a podcast that is right up your alley, look no further than Realm of the Mist podcast here on Anchor.fm or where fine podcasts can be heard.
Hi, this is Dave from the Comic Collection at 83 Bustleton Pike in Feasterville, Pennsylvania. Our phone number is 215-357-3332. We are right next to Northeast Philadelphia. We have action figures, gaming, statues, albums, and CDs, graphic novels, other knickknacks, and, of course, comics. Established in 1985, we are your go-to store. Come by and say hello, and say that the guys from Radiocast FM Radio sent you. The address again is 83 Bustleton Pike, Feasterville, Pennsylvania, or call 215-357-3332.
Three-eyed turtle? Is that alright?
What the fuck is a three-eyed turtle?
Wants a mustache ride.
Are you tired of the same old podcasts with no humor? Well, join us for After Hours, where everything is funny, at least to us, on Anchor.fm and where quality podcasts are heard.
How the fuck did we get on this?
I don't know.
Fucking FCC started this shit. It's their fucking fault.
Hey everyone, this is Dak.
This is Liam.
And this is White People Shit.
We are a bi-weekly podcast.
Whoa. Maybe you're bi-week. I'm straight and strong.
It means twice a week, you douche.
Oh. Yeah, listen to us twice a week. On White People Wednesdays, we talk about gay stuff, zombies, superhero sex positions.
And on Featured Peep Fridays, we interview the Featured Peep of the Week.
Yeah, like a fucking furry.
Just search WPS Podcast and look for the white dude in red pajamas.
We're on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Tube, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.
We believe in equal opportunity humor, where all things can be made fun of. So if your feelings get hurt and you're offended, you can always
eat a dick.
And we're back, and we are continuing our look at Sabine Wren, the, I guess you could say the resident explosive expert on the Ghost.
I guess it's safe to say she's the bomb.
She's their Rico.
Rico.
Please tell me somebody got that reference.
I did.
Yeah, Rico.
Kaboom.
Kaboom.
No Rico.
Kaboom.
Kaboom. No Rico.
Yes, Rico.
Kaboom. Oh, wow. But we were talking a little bit about Ezra, and I think that was a really interesting dynamic for me, is seeing that relationship. And
what relationship? Brian talked about it earlier, last episode with the Hera episode, where everybody was waiting for Kanan and Hera to finally kiss and shit. I was waiting for the final hookup, or at least expression of emotion between the two of them. Ezra was head over heels in love with her, and she kept ignoring it.
I think there was a couple things with that. I think in the
beginning, she was almost antagonistic toward Ezra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was more, I think for her, she saw him more as a little brother.
Oh, that's worse than the friend zone right there.
That was how she saw. She was like, you're, and even though there wasn't that much of an age difference, a lot of times, especially when you're talking about that age and the difference between a boy and a girl, a couple years, especially during that time, during that age, can be huge.
I'm sorry, honey. You want some pussy? Here's a loth cat. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Damn, Jedi cock block. That's just harsh.
Oh.
Well, hey, didn't the Jedi have a thing against attachments?
Detachments were forbidden, but, compassion. That's it. Well, no, I'm just using Anakin's argument in Attack of the Clones, and nothing should ever be used from Attack of the Clones.
Ouch.
Hey! I'm
Wow.
quite beside myself. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was... You
Told you
guys
I'm in
go
a
right
mood
ahead.
today. Told you I'm in
I
a mood
can tell.
today. It's your show.
Wow.
Don't let me take it over.
But yeah, I mean, there was definitely that, like I said, definitely that her seeing Ezra as a brother, and of course, like you said, Ezra being completely head over heels for her. And I don't know, it was interesting to see how that ended and how that, Ezra finally coming to the realization that it's never going to happen. And kind of moving past that, and and that relationship changing from one of, again, in that Darksaber arc, in that Mandalorian arc, with him kind of taking and helping out with the training.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of. Go ahead.
Which is kind of funny because I think that arc, it was really helpful for both of them, because Ezra wasn't the world's greatest Padawan to begin with. So when he's sitting there helping, Sabine learn how to use that freaking lightsaber, it was almost like a mutual thing. Like, okay, he's training her in the techniques, but she's training him in the patience.
Yeah.
Department. I think he walked away from that exchange a better Jedi.
Yeah. I think all of them walked. I think even Kanan walked away a better Jedi, because he had to change his whole training routine.
Right.
He couldn't just train her like he would any Jedi, because she doesn't have the Force.
Right.
So she doesn't have that connection. So he had to change his entire, and he had to realize that she's not Ezra. You can't, even...
She's definitely not Ezra.
Thank God.
No. Well, not just, the obvious reason, but you're talking about someone with a completely different personality, a completely different way of looking at things. And, he had to learn that you can't, there's not just a handbook that said, this is how you train people. Everyone is different. And
yeah. As frustrated as Ezra got in some of the beginning of his training with stuff, I can only imagine that Sabine would have gone off and blown up a few things to vent.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that is true. Just like, I mean, she going back to what you said earlier, Keith, about her antagonizing, Ezra's emotions. I mean, there were times where you wondered, because, like, I remember that episode where Chopper had pulled the bolts to Ezra's bunk, and Ezra's bunk dropped down on Zeb while he was sleeping.
Yeah.
And she decides to go into their room during the whole entire episode and paint a mural, and when they come back, it's a mural of Ezra and his bunk falling on Zeb in the bottom bunk. Like,
We're just gonna immortalize this incident.
She did.
Well, if you think about it, though, you can kind of almost see that reaction, because up until that point, other than, she was the youngest one on the crew. And so I think she probably got a lot more attention from both of them. If you look at Hera and Kanan as being kind of like the parents of the ship, and Zeb kind of being crazy Uncle Zeb.
Oh.
Think about it, though.
Thought.
My mind went completely the wrong way after the last couple of episodes on Realm of the Mist where we were talking about creepy Uncle Joe Biden. So you might want to rephrase Uncle Zeb there.
Okay, yeah. But, wow.
Yeah.
But then you have, Ezra come in, and here's this kind of almost, you can say, wonder kid who comes in and suddenly he's the focus of all the attention.
Well, see, that much I can get. Like, she was a part of the team, even though she was, had that issue for a while. It's like, I need to know what's going on. Nobody's telling me anything, and it's the same shit the Empire pulled on me, and blah, blah, blah. But
yeah.
I get in the beginning, like, the first couple episodes where she was kind of anti-Ezra, not so much because she was the youngin' and it's jealousy, but they really didn't know where Ezra stood. Ezra was just a street rat. He wasn't a part of the team. He was a street rat who stole their shit.
Yeah.
And now is hitching a ride on their ship because Kanan said so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I could definitely see the antagonistic parts in the beginning. But after she saw that he was going to be a part of the crew and a part of the team, she still didn't give him. And maybe it's a fan thing, but she didn't give him the attention that I think she should have. Like that boy would have moved Death Stars for her.
Yeah.
It might just be that by the point that they got, by the time they got to that point, she was just set in the way of being antagonistic to him.
Kind of like a anti-flirt.
Kinda, maybe. And like I said, maybe
use this as my coping mechanism for dealing with you for so long. I don't actually know how to do anything else.
I don't know. That kind of makes sense in a way.
Yeah, it does.
And like I said, we don't. Obviously, we only get what we've seen. So, and without knowing a lot of other source material for Sabine, we can't really know what she really thought of Ezra. We get just what we hear and what we see.
Well, there's a good question with Rebels being done, and we know that Sabine survives the end of Rebels. Spoilers. Do you think that we'll ever get any more material of Sabine? Maybe a novel or a comic run, anything of that nature?
It's a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. The original EU has a rich history of pulling random characters from the main movie canon and expanding on their backstories.
Yeah.
Whether warranted or not.
Well,
just look at Boba Fett.
Well, I was about to say, do you think the character even warrants a look deeper into her history or her future, for that matter?
I don't know, because yeah.
Lord knows at this point she's got more character development than Boba originally had.
5 lines, and one of them was "Ah!"
Yeah, one of them was literally a Wilhelm scream.
Yeah.
Ah! But I just had a thought of, I said we don't know what her relationship, not her relationship, but what she thought of Ezra. But in a way, we kind of do get a little bit of a glimpse in how she felt about Ezra is at the end of Rebels. She is the one. If I remember right, she was the one that goes out with Ahsoka
to find him.
To find him.
Well, yeah, I mean,
at
the end of Rebels, they're friends, but they didn't cross that barrier that I really hoped for, personally. And I imagine there was enough fans out there that probably felt the same way I did. It's like, these two need to hook up.
From what I saw of the Rebels fandom, while I wasn't watching it, but I was aware of its existence, the shipping between Ezra and Sabine was pretty strong.
Oh yeah.
So, But I get a kick out of as you were saying that. I heard Keith in the background continuing the rap battle of history. that I stole the line of the Boba Fett had 5 lines and one of them was but
I don't recall. How was I continuing?
I heard you say something in the back. I thought you were still rapping it.
Oh no, I said 5 more minutes in the Sarlacc pit.
Oh, 5 more minutes in the Sarlacc pit. Yes, Boba Fett, the most badass character in Star Wars, gets poked in the back by a blind guy and knocked into a toothy butthole. That's a badass.
Hey, everybody can roll a 1.
Dungeons and Dragons reference. Thank you.
Nice.
We've secured our geekdom.
I am that kind of gamer.
There you go.
Me too.
Dude, again, completely off topic here, but you just brought something up. My mind was blown. I'm a huge Fallout fan, right? The video game Fallout. There is a Dungeons and Dragons style RPG Fallout game that came out or is coming out called something Wasteland, Fallout Wonderful Wasteland or some shit.
I think I heard a little bit about that. I haven't actually seen any materials for it yet, but I have heard a rumor of it.
Oh, I've got to check this thing out.
Well, another thing, kind of again off topic, and since we're talking on that, I saw a first little preview for they're coming out with Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines video game.
Yup.
Oh, they're needed a revamp.
What's that?
It needs a revamp. I was actually going to do a playthrough of the original Bloodlines through PC for Press A Gaming, and it was so choppy and bad. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, now that they've kind of reintroduced the original. They kind of quit with the Requiem and they brought back Masquerade. They're redoing Bloodlines.
Nice.
With completely new graphics and completely new storyline and just redoing it. And just the little things videos I've seen with it, it looks really good.
Another thing I heard along the same veins of that is apparently they're doing a Baldur's Gate remake.
Ooh.
Which I'm excited for. I used to love I had the Baldur's Gate for the OG Xbox, and I loved that game.
Well, I'll tell you what. In the last incarnation of Realm of the Mist, you'll appreciate this since you're digging through our history a little bit. Besides, fuck the FCC that we talked about earlier. You'll see a show that we used to have called Gaming XP. You'll see a folder for that. We were doing live roleplay.
Oh, that's awesome.
We were doing a Pathfinder campaign.
I'm actually doing a Pathfinder campaign with my friends right now.
You might want to check that out.
It's going very exactly how you imagine a Pathfinder campaign goes.
That's what I'm saying. You might want to check that out if that's your thing, because you'll probably get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
I'm still heartbroken that it stopped, but
yeah.
Yeah, you can always start it up again.
Yeah.
We need the DM. He's the guy that left.
Oh, yeah.
I might know a guy.
There you go.
All right. Well, what were we talking about again?
I believe it was Sabine Wren.
Sabine Wren. That's right. Wow, you can tell how much of a...
Come on, keep up with the conversation, John.
I was going to say you can tell how much of an important character she was. And it wasn't that...
It's not that she wasn't important. It's more that she only has one series that she was a big part of.
That's true.
We've yet to see whether they're going to continue giving her backstory in the wider canon.
Yeah.
Of things.
That's the hard thing. Like with all the female characters we've discussed previously, they were mainstay characters. They were the lead actresses or the lead female roles, including Hera. And now we're talking about a secondary character who wasn't given as much as the rest of the characters. So it's really, really hard. I mean, the long and the short of the answer, did I like the character? Yeah. Would I like to see more information on the character? Yes. But unfortunately, there's just not a whole lot to talk about on her. That's a damn shame. You know, because I definitely think she could be... All right, here's my point of view of the character. I think the character would be a good character for younger female audiences. I think they could really resonate with her if they gave her, for sake of argument, her own little adventure on Disney XD or something like that. You know,
I think that would be really cool.
I think little girls could really, you know, preteens and stuff like that could really connect to that type of character. So I think there's a lot of market for Sabine Wren, but until they come out with more, all we have is 4 seasons of Rebels.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can see now, you know, marketing, you know, little, you know, girl-sized Mandalorian helmets with the Sabine outfit on, the Sabine paint job.
Fuck that, I'll have one.
Merchandising.
Merchandising.
Hey, there you.
Sabine Wren, the flamethrower. The kids love this.
The kids love this. Oh.
But
all right. Well, we're gonna wrap things up a little early tonight, and
well, let me get this out before we do. We got a couple things I wanna shoot out there. I'm gonna put on my my CEO of a company hat for a second here.
Okay.
There is huge news here in Realm of the Mist Entertainment that is going to be coming to you guys very, very soon. As a matter of fact, I will announce the exact date that you'll find out what's going on. That is April 20th. Yes, 4/20. We will be live on location. Well, some of us will be on location. The rest will be on over Skype or however we get them on, because they don't live in the same city I do.
Sorry.
No problem. No problem. Well, we work with what we got, correct? But the fact of the matter is that we're going to have huge announcements. So you guys are not going to want to miss that. Make sure you're tuning in to our newly minted YouTube channel. We finally broke the triple digits, ladies and gentlemen. So you can find us at youtube.com/Realm of the Mist Entertain Vape. All one word. Go ahead and hit that up, and that's the way you can find us to get the like and subscribe. So that's the 2 big news, man. We finally broke the triple digits, and major announcement coming on April 20th.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Oh, one other one. I'm sorry. One other one. And we got the guy here, so I can actually make that announcement.
You heard me make it at the beginning of it?
No. We announced that you're a part of Realm of the Mist Entertainment. I'm talking too fast now. Oh, God, that had a flavor.
We'll just edit it in post.
Oh, whoa. That watered the eye. No, we announced that you're part of Realm of the Mist Entertainment, but we did not announce what show you're mainly going to be attached to, even though talent in Realm of the Mist is like, you know, bisexual. They can go to any podcast they want. We signed you on specifically for a show that is finally coming off the shelf and into reality. We've been doing for the longest time for non-podcast days on YouTube. We were doing a thing called Press A Gaming, which Press A Gaming was just video game Let's Plays and playthroughs. And it was always an idea of taking Press A Gaming and giving it a monthly podcast. The original idea was to talk about the games being played, when originally we thought we'd have other people besides me playing them. Unfortunately, that never came to fruition until now. Guys, we are officially announcing Press A Gaming Podcast, which will be monthly half-hour or so podcasts discussing single topics of video games, be it the industry, upcoming game, reviewing a game that's out there, whatever we may float our boat. And in fact, Mr. Keith, who is one of the panelists of Press A Gaming Podcast, came up with the first topic, which I will announce, which is the phenomenon of the Battle Royale style video game. Is it godly or is it trash? We will decide when we sit down to talk about it. Is it fad
or is it here to stay?
Is it fad or is it here to stay? We're going to discuss that topic on the first inaugural debut of Press A Gaming Podcast. And finally, before I give you back to the shout out to give the outro, finally, I just want to give a shout out to our friends over at Vape Scorpion. Guys, I know you're listening in. I know you're playing the replay for us in the store. Guys, thank you very much for having us in there, and we look forward to hearing ourselves on your stores a lot more often.
Definitely. Alrighty then. With that being said, as Chris just said, you can find us at Realm of the Mist on YouTube. You can just search Realm of the Mist, and you'll probably be able to find us there. Remember to like and subscribe. Also, remember to, if you're checking us out on any of the other platforms, which you can hear us on Anchor.fm, just look for Anchor.fm and look for Realm of the Mist. If you're checking us on iTunes, give us a 5-star review. That goes a long way. And also remember, if you like what you hear or like what any of the other shows, remember to support us on Patreon and on Anchor.fm. Every little penny, every little dollar helps. You have no idea how much it means to us. You have no idea how much it means when you subscribe, when you give us that thumbs up. All of that stuff just goes a long way. It means a whole lot to us.
When you comment.
Yes.
We like comments.
We do. We do.
Comment.
Yes.
Spread our message everywhere.
Yeah, but honestly, though, when you come, tell us what you like. Tell us what you think we can improve, because we want to put out the best content that we possibly can. So, tell us if there's something that you're like, hey, why don't you try this? Why don't you? This is something that I think would make the show better, and we'll listen to it. We may not necessarily do it, but we do listen to it, and we will take it into consideration. So,
I promise we will not make fun of you on air, except for maybe after hours.
Yeah.
After hours has no rules.
It's the truth. It really is. Sorry, go ahead, John.
You can find me on Facebook at Mark Tolley, on Twitter at JohnMarkTolley1, and on Instagram at JohnTolley3930. Other than that, Chris, where can they find you?
Anywhere you see the logo of Realm of the Mist Entertainment, whether it be on YouTube, Anchor.fm, Spotify, iTunes, and all the great podcast platforms. You can also find me on all the social medias under Christopher Michael Stolley. And, of course, you can find me every week on Realm of the Mist podcast, It Had to Be Said with Venus, and War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast.
All right, and Mr. Zephyr, how can people find you?
Well, I guess they can find me on the Realm of the Mist website now, whenever I decide to, fill out the bio. And
your picture's there.
Yeah, my picture is there. I guess you can also find me on my Facebook page, Keith Zephyr Partlow. I guess that's really it. I don't really have an online presence all that much.
Yeah, that's about to change.
All right. Well, with that all being out of the way, thank you all everyone for joining us tonight, and check us out next week as we continue rolling on with our look at the Women of Star Wars with the Clone Wars original bad girl,
Asajj Ventress.
Asajj Ventress.
Yay! Oh, we have one more shout out we got to give. I completely forgot this because, one of the hosts is just forgettable. The other one's really cool, though. I want to give a shout out to Dak and Liam over in White People Shit Podcast, WPS. Guys, go over to Spotify and all the great podcast things. Look up WPS Podcast. Go check them out. They just released their episode for this week, which is their 11th episode, and I am the special guest podcaster. Trust me, you don't want to miss how much I made Dak cry.
Yeah, those guys are a lot of fun. Trust me, I personally know them.
All right. Well, with that being said, again, thank you all for joining us. And until next time, remember, the Force will be with you.
Always.
And always with you.